North Korea may have as many as 20 fully assembled nuclear devices. That's the word from well-known anti-nuclear researcher and author Hans Christensen. In a report jointly authored with scientist Robert Norris, his assessment is that the North is yet to master re-entry technology and may still be working to develop a credible delivery system.
The North Korean nuclear weapons program appears to be leapfrogging. Last September, North Korean scientists tested their most powerful bomb ever, a hydrogen device measuring 100 kilotons, which generated a 6.3 magnitude artificial earthquake and the tremors that were picked up nearly 20,000 kilometers away in Argentina. Now, Hans Christensen and Robert Norris of the Federation of Atomic Scientists have authored a report on the North Nuclear's program. The report raises the possibility that the North may already have sufficient nuclear devices in stock and have enough missile-fissile material, meaning enriched uranium, to make many more. They suggest that it's only a matter of time before North Korea's nuclear arsenal can be declared fully functioning. They've estimated that the North has produced enough fissile material to build 30 to 60 nuclear weapons. It may have assembled up to 20 such weapons. Do remember that North Korea has tested 6 nuclear devices in 10 years. Curiously, North Korea never appears to have developed an atom bomb that can be dropped from an aircraft, which is usually easier to develop than missile warheads. Why is not clear. What about the delivery systems, meaning the missiles that will carry the warheads? North Korea has test-flown a variety of ballistic missiles, but may have nuclear warheads only for short-range missiles like the Nodong. The report notes that the North may not yet have developed re-entry technology for its longer-range missiles. Christensen and Norris say the North has at least 4 variants of the Hwasong intercontinental ballistic missile, which can range up to 13,000 kilometers. There's also the Taepodong-2 with a range of 12,000 kilometers. There are 2 variants of the Hwasong intermediate range ballistic missile that has a range from 3,000 to 5,500 kilometers. There are 3 medium-range missiles, 2 of the Hwasong variety and one called the Bokaesong-2 with a maximum range of 3,000 kilometers. Christensen and Norris have added a caveat here. The operational status of the Taepodong-2 is uncertain. The Hwasong has suffered many launch failures. Most if not all of the missiles are liquid-fueled, which adds to preparation time and maintenance issues. The operational status of the North's nuclear warheads is not clear. Warhead capability is in fact in its infancy and therefore may not be reliable. The report raises many questions, including how the North continues to progress its nuclear expertise. Is there external collusion? If so, by whom? And many others. That the North sees its nuclear capability as a deterrent is reassuring. It suggests that Kim Jong-un has a maturity that transcends mere saber-rattling. Bureau Report, WION.
And we're now joined by Vishnu Prakash, the former High Commissioner of India to Canada. He's also, of course, served as the ambassador to Seoul and as the spokesperson of the MEA. Good evening, Ambassador Prakash. Thanks for joining us here on WION. First of all, if I can ask you, what can you tell us about the Vancouver dialogue, which takes place next week?
I think it's a good attempt to bring together like-minded countries to deliberate on the issue. It's a very serious challenge to the international community, to the peace and stability in East Asia. But I'm afraid that nothing much will come out of it because one, the biggest player in the whole matter, China, has already indicated that they will not be joining the deliberations. Now, there are only 2 countries which really matter, frankly, to solve the knotty issue or to move forward on the knotty issue of the Korean Peninsula. One is the US and one is China. And if China is not even going to be a part of the deliberations, I think the answer is obvious.
Do you think, Ambassador, could be helping North Korea with its nuclear weapons program? I mean, that's of a big concern to countries like India as well.
It is more or less clear that in the initial stages, China helped North Korea and then Pakistan. As far as I recall, it was 1993 when Benazir Bhutto went on a state visit to North Korea. And she has, in one of her interviews, mentioned herself that she carried blueprints in her top coat on nuclear enrichment, and which she handed over to North Korea. So the complicity of Pakistan, the complicity of China is more or less established, and that is very unfortunate, because they have been the source of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction.
This report, Ambassador Prakash, it just goes to show that sanctions don't seem to be working as far as North Korea goes. What is the alternative in that case?
Well, sanctions to work have to be effective. You can impose sanctions, but if they are diluted, if they are neutralized, then they obviously will not have an impact. And it has so far been clear, quite evident, that China has run with the hare and hunted with the hound. And they have voted for the sanctions in the UN Security Council, but on ground, they have found ways and means to do things very differently and go against the letter and spirit of the sanctions.
If I can also ask you, Ambassador, what possibilities do you see emerging in terms of South Korea and North Korea's dialogue? A lot has been made of it already, but what is your assessment?
I have written an article for WION News, which is on its website also. I think that this is tactical. I think that North Korea was under pressure. So they have just shifted tactical gears to ward off pressure, to buy time, to try and extract some freebies out of South Korea, and try and drive a wedge between South Korea and USA. And they have done it in the past. We have seen this, we have done that, we have seen this, we have been there. And over the last 60 years, it has happened again and again and again. Whenever North Korea is under pressure, they buy time. They buy time by opening a dialogue. And then once that phase passes, they abruptly pull out. They feign anger or insult or something, and they pull out of talk. So I think I do not lay much store to this round of dialogue. It may last a few weeks, it may last a few months, but nothing may really come out, because again, the bottom line is that North Korea will not give up its weapons of mass destruction, because they see that as a guarantee for regime survival, and they only want to have direct talks with the US.